Hello there, this is MrSjarok and I'm bringing you an episode of Empires of the Undergrowth. Like we talked about in the last episode, we are going to be going into the Queen of the Hill mission. After checking out the length of the last episode, I think I'll take the Formicarium challenge in a separate episode. This time we're going to go with the Mortarants, because in this one we will have other hives attacking us from time to time.
A number of small Formica, Rufa and Fusca colonies have established themselves on this beach. Those nearest to the water's edge have enjoyed the first pick of the washed-up seafood for the past few days. However, as the sun and moon near alignment and the first spring tide of the month approaches, high tide draws nearer to these intrepid ants. Seemingly aware of their circumstances, these colonies are preparing to relocate to higher ground. There is only one way up the bank, and the route is currently occupied by a small Rufa colony. These defenders will have to hold their ground against the oncoming siege. It will be 3 days before the high tide washes away the competition. If the colony survives, it will inherit the beach. But this won't be an easy fight.
So, we are going to have to survive for 3 days against semi-continuous attacks from the other colonies. So, I'm gonna start creating hive chambers so that I can start spawning the soldiers and the worker ants. Apparently 4 days, according to the counter.
Although the nests nearer the water have better access to the food washed up by the sea, this Rufa colony need not starve. The plant life growing nearby is home to herds of grey aphids. As they feed on plant sap, these tiny insects excrete droplets of honeydew, which the wood ants find irresistible. They need only protect the aphids from danger to receive a constant supply of sugary liquid.
Indeed.
Doing so is not always simple, however. Hungry ladybird beetles know exactly where the aphids like to graze. They can strip an unguarded stem bare in a mere matter of minutes. The ants will need to keep a close watch over their flock.
So,
This colony must remain small for now.
We going to need
Food is too scarce to support greater
fend
numbers.
this, but we're also going to have to fend off ants that will come up here and they will come up here. Of course, in real life, this bank over here would not stop ants, but it provides a convenient barrier for the game. So, like on most of the maps, the start is relatively slow, and we are going to have to place some food tiles. And for now, we are going to be sending all of the ants that we have to pick up food, but later on we are going to split up the workers and the army ants so that the army ants can defend from these guys and the workers can continuously walk back and forth and pick up the food. That's why I'm creating so many hexes, because we are going to need more than one of each type of ant. Well, more than one of each type of brood chamber. This is gonna be a mission. So this is going to be a spitter, soldier, worker, spitter, soldier, or something like that. Doesn't really matter where we put them, but it's good to have it semi-figured out. And then in the night, we're gonna start having
the colony is starving. There's not enough food to feed the new brood.
Pick up food and killing off these guys and stuff like that. I think in here is one of the big guys, the Devil's Coach Horse Beetle. But I can't remember if that's right. I'm going to put down two of these, and then I'm going to put down two of the
A party of
soldiers.
Formica Fusca black ants are heading inland. The high ground roofer colony must defend their territory.
This one's gonna stand here. And they sort of got into the nest. I'm gonna send all of my army ants back here just to defend a bit. Nice, got them all. And this one should send a small party as well. It should be relatively easy to defend against. No, not what I was gonna do. I was gonna send this guy number 3 here.
This colony must remain small for now. Food is too scarce to support greater numbers.
Yeah, so
The roofer colony on the low ground are sending troops to clear a path for their queen. The high ground colony must keep them at bay.
yeah. The first slaves are relatively easy. Nothing too serious. Move all these guys outside, just so that well, okay, they managed to get all of it. Why did I send them? Just so that we have something easy to get to was what I was gonna say, but apparently I didn't move them fast enough, so no matter. So I'm gonna fill up.
The lower ground colonies have relented their siege for now.
Yeah.
Night approaches,
Hex here.
and with it, it brings a host of nocturnal predators out onto the beach. The high ground ants could go underground to wait out the night, but they would have to leave their precious aphids unguarded.
Yeah.
It is a difficult choice for this colony. Face the peril out in the open, or hide away and risk losing their only reliable source of food.
Now I'm going to stop the soldier ants from picking up food, and I'm gonna stop the worker ants from fighting. Going to equally increase the size of each of the brood chambers. When I have a bigger army, I'm going to start clearing out the inside of the hive. So this is going decently. It's unfortunate that we have a big guy over here. But if we would leave this without defense, then these ladybirds would definitely empty this out pretty much completely. And since the aphids are quite an important food source, we can't really afford that. So I am thinking I'm going to increase the size of the
This colony must remain small for now. Food is too
storage
scarce to support greater numbers.
a bit, which might get the workers over here to start picking up this guy. Yeah, looks like that worked.
The colony is starving. There is not enough food to feed the new brood.
Alright. And then because we have guardians on both sides, we're going to get, even though there's no food on the ground here from the aphids in the evening, we're gonna be able to collect the food from the devil's coat source and the larvae. Like here, 15 food from each. On this side we have food because we weren't picking it up over the entire day. So that's a reason for that. The reason I'm increasing the spitters side more than the other is because they deal the damage. So, like you see, the mortar is really what is bringing down the devil's coat source larvae, and the soldier is only there to take damage, so they are the tanky unit, as you would say. But this seems to be working out quite nicely, having semi-equal amounts of army ants on both sides. Usually I go for building up this side first, and then I go over here, because these repopulate if you defend the area. I think it's going to be more beneficial to have both sides protected from the start, because then well, it's going to give us more food from the beginning. And then here, for example, I can put up another tile of food, brood chambers, so that I can start building up soldiers here that can take up these guys here, and this area here, which can also hold another chamber. So if I do this here, yeah, here and here, these should be pretty good, both of them. and the ladybugs don't attack, so I don't have to worry about the workers taking any damage from them, even if they stand around here. But I'm going to move these guys in here, just so they won't be the first ones to take the brunt of the attacks from the Devil's Cultures and
Dawn breaks, and the battle for the high ground will soon continue.
Yeah.
The high ground colony defended their aphid flocks well, succeeding in securing vital food supplies to see them through the oncoming onslaught.
And I'm gonna open here, which will let these guys out, but I can move one of the soldier pheromone markers in here to defend this. If we lose one aphid or two, it doesn't really make a huge difference. It's not good, but it's not gonna be the worst thing ever.
There are intruders in the nest.
So I'm gonna move number 1 in here just to kill the cultures larva.
The Fuska colony is sending a wave of warriors to clear a path for their queen.
That's good. I'll send these guys up here again and take number 3 and put them in the path of the Fuska colony. Should not be an issue to take out this wave. I'm going to increase the size of our worker population. We should be able to fill up a square, up a hex. Yeah, and a bit more than that.
This colony must remain small for now. Food is too scarce to support greater numbers.
Number 3 over there. It's gonna be number 2 that goes up in number 1st, so they will not have an issue not having the soldiers gathering food, like over here. Number 3 should probably start gathering food just to speed it up a bit, and then stop again.
The Rufa colony are sending another assault. They are desperate to reach higher ground.
This, that's these guys. I'm gonna move my ants in front of those. Luckily, the biggest part of my army went after their spitters. Which takes care of most of their damage. Fill in the rest of this, and then I'm going to increase the number of spitters in both groups. So now we should have no food just lying around. As you see, it's getting picked up almost as soon as it is put down.
More black ants are emerging from the Fuska nest.
We are overproducing food. So number 3 is going to go over there. And to increase the size of the storeroom we have. Yeah, and the black ants went after our spitters, it seems. Got in behind. So push is taken care of. Now we have full hexes of this. I'm going to place a speed up tile.
More soldiers are emerging from the Rufa nest.
for those guys here. No, not those. I was going to move number 1 over here so that the army actually attacks the roof ants. Feels like they have upgraded their ants or something. Like so, alright. Now we are going to start filling up the soldier count. Soon I'm gonna start filling up here with worker ants, and here I'm gonna split one between soldier and spitter, just so that we can get...
Night falls, and a temporary truce emerges between the warring colonies. Once again, the high ground wood ants must make a choice. Do they defend the aphids, or will they hide, resting their forces until the morning?
Now, we don't need these guys outside, so we're gonna go over here and pick this up. And we don't need them until they have managed to kill something that needs to be brought downstairs. So, for now, we're gonna bring them over here just to pick up that stuff. Once again, the enemies are close music in this. The conflict music in this game is amazing. So here we can start going up. I need to go up there. So what we could do is something like this. Like so, and like so. This guy is going to need to go into one of these. Start upgrading these guys.
This colony must remain small for now. Food is too scarce to support greater numbers.
So this is roughly the way I'm gonna go around picking up the food inside the nest. We really shouldn't have any problems dealing with this stuff out here anymore. We have so many ants that can defend this that it's not really gonna be a problem. no, it's not gonna be a problem. And I might want to start building up the interior guy. The guys I'm gonna keep in here to pick up all the food inside the nest. These guys to go over there and pick that up. And then back into the middle of the aphid farm for safety. So it's gonna be sort of is here, and the other guys are gonna have the rest because they yeah, it might be just this here, and then the other guys can have the rest of the area. So 6 regular guys and 13 of the other ones. Should be plenty to deal with anything we have inside the nest. For now, all these guys are gonna be number 5. It is day.
Dawn breaks, and the battle for the high ground will soon continue. The high ground colony defended their aphid flocks well, succeeding in securing vital food supplies to see them through the oncoming onslaught.
And I'm gonna be bringing group number 1 down here to deal with this guy. And probably others.
Predators are loose in the nest. The larvae must be protected.
So, I'm gonna bring them back up.
More black ants are emerging from the Fuska nest.
Wonders. No, they're not gonna allow me to invade the lower ground colonies.
There are intruders in the nest.
Sending group number 1 down to deal with that.
There are intruders in the nest.
Looks like we're gonna lose a single aphid or something like that. Send them back up. Number 3, go over here, protect the farm.
More soldiers are emerging from the roofer nest.
Going to place down a bunch of workers.
This colony must remain small for now. Food is too scarce to support greater numbers.
Place down a pheromone marker for group 5 over there, so that they will walk all the way in here to pick up food. That includes these guys. Going to need about 70 more food to finish the soldier count, and then these guys should be able to take care of everything that we stumble upon inside the nest.
Both lower ground colonies are now sending out armies at the same time.
Push group number 1 over there and 3 over here. Oh yeah, it's fine. This should be...
The colony is starving. There's not enough food to feed the new brood.
Upgraded. Oh no, not that upgraded. These should all then be the guys that... the mortar guys. Now we should have a pretty big surge of food.
Black ants and wood ants are heading from their nests to the high ground.
Since we are collecting food both from the aphids and from the food sources we have down here. I have to move the pheromone marker in a bit. And now if the outside armies fail, we have a little buffer here that we can place here. If until the others respawn. I would really like to be able to upgrade all of my guys as well. Well, at least the spitters. So, and night is upon us.
Night falls, and a temporary truce emerges between the warring colonies. Once again, the high ground wood ants must make a choice. Do they defend the aphids, or will they hide, resting their forces until the morning?
Moving all of the workers down into the nest, and now we should have enough forces to take on everything that could be over there. Using the workers as shields and the 6 soldier ants that we have over there.
There are intruders in the nest.
4 of those guys should not be a problem. Deactivate the food gathering from these guys.
This colony must remain small for now. Food is too scarce to support greater numbers.
Okay, 1 more of those guys. Shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, no issue.
The colony is starving. There's not enough food to feed the new brood.
Okay, now we can start picking up food. these guys back to their representative groups because it looks like there's a lot of food outside, and that does despawn. Takes a bit of time, but it does. Okay, and now we move everyone over here, and we start upgrading these guys again. Now we have one level 2, no, level 3 split around in both groups.
There are intruders in the nest.
Over there, and we have another one of the fully grown double coach bosses. Shouldn't be an issue. Food stores are full, so we are going to start upgrading.
The workers have done all they can to prepare this brood chamber.
And now we have managed to gather everything that we have done here. So we are moving this guy over here and this guy over there, and yeah, like this. Start upgrading more. Trying to get as many level 3s as we can. Not really, doesn't really matter in which group they are, just as long as we have as many level 3s for the next day as we can, because well, next day is gonna be a bit more intense than the other ones. Ooh. It's a lot of food over there. Going to deactivate that pheromone marker. Going to but yeah, next day is the last day, so that's gonna be when they send the rest of the ants that they have.
The colony is starving. There is not enough food to feed the new brood.
Okay, shouldn't be losing too many guys. No, the rapid fire ants are better at dealing with these guys. The crabs and the cold sores and all that stuff. But the mortar is better at dealing with what's it called? The other ants.
Last night's high tide was dangerously close to the low ground nests. Today is their last chance to relocate. The low ground colonies won't show any restraint. Their attacks will be desperately vicious. Fortunately for the high ground colony, many aphids survived the night. Access to food will be pivotal for the upcoming battle.
So, these guys are attacking and these guys are attacking as well. Ooh, managed to kill a beetle. That's good. Means we have plenty of damage to do with anything.
A large black ant force has been sent from the Fuska nest.
I'm missing a lot of food, so I'm going to delete this. It's not a lot of food, but it might... each one of these is 5, which is one of the sulfur ants. So it's something. Managing somewhat to keep them at bay, but we are missing a lot of guys. Oh, it's only 3. It gets reduced by 1 every time, apparently. No, sorry, reduced by 2. Okay. This is gonna be helping us a lot.
More wood ants are heading toward the high ground colony.
Okay, now we have a bunch of food. Actually might be able to hold them without having to retreat into the nest. Which is a little bit unusual for me, so usually I have to retreat. So this is going extremely well. Unfortunate, there's a bunch of ants over there. A bit, just so that we aren't
Both lower ground
food.
colonies are now sending out armies at the same time.
Yeah. Should be fine-ish. Alright, the upgraded spitters are doing some work. So every time an upgraded mortar hits, it takes a lot of their health off. Okay, now they should start sending their queens. Upgrade on either side. Okay. Yeah. Here it comes. There's their
The day
queen.
is almost over. The low ground is already starting to flood.
And
The
their
lower
queen.
ground nests are emptying completely, and the ants are rushing up the bank. This is their final assault.
Okay, I'm putting everyone down here.
The colony is starving. There is not enough food to feed the new brood.
Oh, he got them both. Sweet. Now we just need to kill off the rest of the army ants from them, and we won. We should get a cinematic soon. Yeah, no. Their hives are drowned.
The wood ants upon the hill have finally defeated their would-be successors. Tomorrow their empire will expand to the undefended intertidal flats below, commanding both the aphid farms and the bounty of the sea. This colony will rise to become an undeniable power in the undergrowth.
Whoop whoop. Once again we're going to pick Royal Jelly. And we're gonna end this level. Because with the Royal Jelly we
How
can...
is the colony progressing?
The Queen is exhibiting interesting new behaviors. I believe the colony is beginning to adapt.
So with the jelly we can start picking our bonuses for the... Can pick for the Queen, or we can pick for either of these guys. I'm going to pick this one for the Queen, just on the off chance that the Formicarium challenge actually manages to push down into the nest. And I am going to upgrade these hexes as far as I can. Gonna get as many level 3s as I can, and then in the next episode we should have the ability to finish the next Formicarium challenge. So yeah. So next time we are going to be doing the Formicarium challenge, and we are in between episodes I'm gonna finish leveling this up because, well, that's not really interesting visuals. Okay, so until next time, bye bye.